You've made it to our secret lair where before the interviews are edited into the hit radio show Yonder Radio, there's the full length ones where I'm probably going on too long, and this will be a case of that today. It's called Beyond the Yonder. And today, before we get to the story, before we get to this challenge that I lay upon myself, I must pay great tribute to the journalist you're about to meet, Astra Lincoln. Look at all of these awards. Look at all of these accolades that she has received for so many incredible achievements in journalism and in writing. And today she must suffer through my attempt at making cat puns throughout her entire journalistic effort. Now, she did inspire me with this headline, Catastrophe. And well, let's get into it, and I'm going to get into my challenge to see if I can do it. But just a tribute to Astra Lincoln. Thank you, Astra, for writing for DailyYonder.com, and thank you for being here for this story that's really happening in Weiser, Idaho.
Yeah, so in most communities, it's pretty common for stray cats to exist. It can be a combination of people having their pets get out. If a pet hasn't been fixed, then it's liable to start a colony. I think what's unique about Weiser is that for some reason there just hasn't been a lot of predation like you normally would get in a more rural community. They have coyotes in the neighborhood. They have bears that live in the neighborhood. For some reason, the only animal that seems to be killing off these cats that are getting born is a type of snake that lives in the area. I forget what the breed of snake is, but some people in the town told me that there are snakes that have been known to kill kittens, and they actually try to encourage these snakes to come into the town to do just that, but that's only happening on the borders of town. And so for whatever reason, without any predation and with just a handful of stray cats already living there, they've had allegedly quite an influx of strays just over the last 2 or 3 years.
So beginning now, Astra, and I know you're on the opposite side of the fence of me, but I want to see how many puns I can weave seamlessly. I'm going to go for five cat puns that I'm going to try to weave seamlessly into this interview. Now you, though, where is your stance on cat puns?
I mean, I did approve. I might have even suggested the catastrophe title.
Okay.
I have a tolerance for like one pun personally.
Well, you have set the tone.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try that. And beginning now, because the question I want to ask you is, can you share your impressive collection of cat breeding statistics that may have helped lead to the situation in Weiser, Idaho?
Sure. So a mother cat can have 3 to 5 litters of kittens in one season. Each litter will have 3 to 8 cats per pregnancy. And so what that means is that unabated, an average cat could have 100 kittens in its lifetime. What that means is that all you need is 2 stray cats introduced to a community for a cat colony of potentially hundreds of cats to establish.
Astra, that is literally insane. So what are they doing? What can be done to curb the cats?
Yeah, so in a lot of communities, programs will be established that are called trap and release programs. That's what they've done in Weiser, to the chagrin of some of the residents in the town who I heard would have preferred to kind of have an open kill permit established. And possibly that has been happening outside of the eye of city council people. But for now, they are working with a trap and release program. In that program, they're working with animal control through the police department to capture as many cats as they can, fix them, working with the local veterinarian, and then release the fixed cats back into the community where they'll continue to live for the rest of their natural life expectancy. So it's not an immediate fix. Whether or not it's working to curb the overall population is kind of a wait and see.
So it's not immediate, but curbing it is possible.
Exactly, yeah. They won't know whether it's worked for 6 years, 8 years. I mean, indoor cats can live up to 20 years. I think the life expectancy for outdoor strays is closer to 6 to 10 years at most. And in that time, they're just going to try to... to catch as many of the new cats that are introduced to the colonies as possible and continue to fix them.
So a cat has but a brief moment here on Earth, and they do their best with many, many offspring. What was it like being a journalist wandering around town with a notepad and an eye for cats? Did people accept you in their human colony? Were they curious about what you were doing?
They were. I have to admit, I was a little bashful prowling the alleyways of this town. The first woman that I saw when I had found the first cat colony that I saw, which is behind the local bookstore, I was just standing in the middle of the alleyway, surrounded by cats. I was having the time of my life trying to woo them. And then a woman came out, I think the back door of one of the bars that faced the alleyway. And this is not a joke. She was wearing head to toe leopard print.
Oh, wow. I think you stumbled upon the queen.
I know. I was like, surely she's the leader. But I felt a little awkward because obviously, this is a 5,000 person town. Everyone knows each other. And I was just like, this is literally the most random location that a stranger could be in this town. And I kind of bashfully said, oh, I'm just looking for the stray cats. I don't think I told her I was a reporter. And she was psyched. She told me that she brings food out for the cats every day.
Did it get weird? At any moment were you feline scared?
I wasn't scared. It sounded like the town of Weiser has a pretty positive relationship with animals overall. I heard of other people in the community just outside of the town boundary that have a whole compound, or maybe not a compound, but they privately own a herd of zebras. And that seemed pretty celebrated. They also were about to bring the circus into town with 2 live lions. So it seemed like a pretty pro-animal place. They just are not pro-cat, for the most part. Some of the residents really like the cats. The one colony that I found had a lot of shelters constructed for the cats, and there was food and water out.
Then I think it's in the alley where the woman says to you, this was actually a brothel, so now it's still a cat house, and gives you a wink.
The city clerk told me that, yes.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up the city clerk, because Natasha McDaniel seems like maybe the perfect person for this role, because she's putting her all into this cat situation.
Yeah, she was really enthused. I think she had first heard about the problem, presumably partially through observation, but also through people coming to her as an official representative of the city and complaining. I'm under the impression that parts of the town can become quite fragrant because of the density of cats that live there. And people were coming and suggesting to her, I see you raising your pencil, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you're not kidding me. Cats stink. Anyway, sorry, Astra, you are a professional, and I appreciate your work. So what else happened?
Well, people were coming in and suggesting to McDaniel that they just start killing the cats wholesale. And to be clear, I didn't mention this in the piece, but that has happened in other jurisdictions. I know in Australia, for example, they have in the past developed cat-killing robots to address some of the massive cat colonies that are killing bird populations. So that's not the route they went in Weiser. McDaniel has, as you mentioned, pretty much single-handedly taken on the problem. Although she is collaborating with the local vet office, they have had a couple of high school students join in the vet as kind of like an internship program where they are working with the vet to learn skills it wouldn't really be appropriate for them to practice on pets in the neighborhood.
The high school kids?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's amazing to me. So what are the high school kids doing?
They are, it's not completely clear to me what their tasks are. They're not performing the surgeries, but they are assisting with anesthesia, for example, in ways that would be beyond the scope of practice for them as interns generally.
Not the perfect solution there. So where does it stand now? Where are we at in Weiser, Idaho? Have they had success?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, it's not clear when and if the colonies will disappear completely. I should note, I looked in 6 different locations for cat colonies. I only found one. I was looking mostly during the day. It was really hot, so presumably the cats were hiding. I think they are more nocturnal typically, and I didn't feel super comfortable looking for them in the middle of the night. But in the end, I think I counted 15 cats total outside, plus 6 in the local bookshop, and the proprietor of the Weiser motel where I was staying told me that she personally had 20 cats.
What? Did you intervene at that point?
I supported her. It sounded
Okay.
like the story wasn't super clear to me. I talked to a couple of other people who suggested that maybe there had been a cat colony on the property of the motel and she had brought those cats in and was adopting them out. She didn't tell me that. I don't know if she still had 20 cats living inside her private residence, but at one point she had 20 cats.
Well, if you're just tuning in now, let me give you a little history. Astra Lincoln went to Weiser, Idaho because they are being overrun by feral cats and they're working on different solutions. And did you at all feel that at any moment you could bring home a cat or two? Was there any cat that got to you?
There were. I actually went into the assignment with plans not only to bring myself home a cat, but to bring home a cat for my friend. We had devised this whole scheme where if one of us was out of town, we would take turns cat sitting. They would be siblings. It was all perfect. And then I realized that I did not want to drive the 7 hours home with a non-litter box trained cat inside my private vehicle. So I did not bring any cats home.
Well, let me do a little Bob Barker here to remind you to spay and neuter your animals. As Astra has told us earlier, an average cat can birth 100 kittens in its lifetime. It sounds like a pyramid scheme. And I'm trying to fit in as many cat puns as I can during this interview. Astra, how is it going so far? Are you feeling like we're maintaining the narrative?
I mean, I think you've outdone yourself. I've counted more than 5 puns so far.
I'm done. I'm done. Now, you've done the work. Is there going to be a better story for you to cover in your lifetime? Or are you sitting at the pinnacle of your career?
Oh, I'm accepting cat tips indefinitely. You know, I was actually thinking it would be fun to find an inn with the circus that was coming to town. I think they're the last touring circus that has live lions as part of their show. So if anyone who hears this has an inn for that, let's talk.
Well, we are very fortunate to be connected with Astra Lincoln, who has written the article for dailyyonder.com. In Idaho, a community addresses a catastrophe. And she set the tone for the puns, and I can't stop myself. A trap neuter release program in Weiser, Idaho addresses a rapidly increasing cat colony, and that's just some of what she talks about in her article. And we greatly appreciate you coming by and not only sharing the story, but tolerating my attempt at as many puns as possible.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.